Hello everyone, my name is Anuj and I welcome you to Master Excel Now. And today we are going to see what kind of information can we extract from data. So it may vary because I'm working on a sample data which could be completely different from yours. But the steps that we are going to follow today might help you to find meaningful information. And we are going to try and find out as many pieces of information as possible. So on screen, you would see we're talking about some ticket IDs for a couple number of clients. They have some issues, and those issues have been categorized as high, medium, and low, which sets the priority. Then we have date received and date resolved. There are certain days when the issue was carried forward to the next day. The resolution time and AST are two different things. Resolution time is considered when the associate or the agent helping the customer marked it as resolved after a confirmation on a call or a chat that the information provided resolved the issue for the client. And that particular service or function or feature started to work. Uh, AST is a time taken after pressing that resolve button. It could be that the person was trying to send up an email to the client with all the conversation that they had and the steps, just in case if he or she needs to, repeat those steps on other devices or on the same devices if they face the problem again. In some cases, they might just be, sitting idle and not doing anything, and after a few minutes, they realize, oh, let's go to the next call or next chat. So these two are different. Then we have FCR. FCR refers to first contact or first call resolution, wherein the client called, somebody helped. It could be an IVR, it could be a customer contact with an agent, but it got resolved within that particular conversation. And then they got disconnected, they moved on. So that is considered a first call resolution or first contact resolution. So, in principle, the ideology here is to work with this data and see as many possible solutions and what kind of information can I find out. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and start working. And a request at this very point of time, please do like, share, and subscribe. And it really helps us to make our content more informative to you. Thank you. So as you see, the data is there, and we're just going to play with the pivot today to extract information. Majority of it is available in a pivot, and we're just going to add and remove fields to see what all can we do. So first thing that we need to do in order to place a pivot is click anywhere in our data. As long as it does not have a blank row, it will continue till the end on its own. So here I don't have a blank row, right? So I'll go to insert, click on pivot. Now in the box that comes, I have all the data, which is the range available here. And it's asked me where should the pivot table be placed. So I'm going to use the new worksheet. However, you can always choose existing worksheet and probably click on your sheet. And this is where the pivot table will start. So for now, let's go to new worksheet and click OK. Now that you've clicked your pivot table, this is your work area where the pivot will show up, and these are the fields. These headers are there. So these headers are available on my data at the very top. Now, so first and foremost, I just want to see how many clients complained. So I will bring here clients. Once you click, it comes to rows automatically. If not, you can drag and drop. So these are my clients, and I want to get a total as well. So I'm going to drop clients here as well in values. So by default, because it's a string value, it's not a number, it comes to be count. So I have a total of 51 clients who complained. And then here, let me enlarge this real quickly. I have, uh, you know, the name of the client, and how many times did he or she complain. So here you can see that. Now, this gives me a fair idea of which client is seeking which, help quite often. So if I were to see ABC Corp is at 6 and STU Corp is at 6, XYZ Limited is at the least. Everybody else averages out to about 5, uh, you know, contacts every month, which is quite high for me. So that's one. Now I can also, just to add on to this itself, now I've seen that, 51 clients interactions happened. I can go ahead and see priority. So I want to see which clients had high priority, low, or medium. So what I did was I dragged priority here. Now there is a difference between how I've placed priority right now. In the row segment, priority is above client name. So you see priority and then the client name, right? So what happens is high priority creates a block and all the clients who had a high priority ticket are going to be listed here. Let's change. Let's bring the client name on top. So I'll simply click and drag it above. And now you see, let me scroll, zoom out. So now you see the name of the client and high, low, medium, and accordingly. And next to them are the numbers. So 123 Corp had one high volume ticket, one low volume, and three medium, right? So anybody who probably has the highest will be my concern. So right now, it's a little bit tough to understand which client falls under the highest one. So let me change it back, bring priority on top and bring client down from rows here. And now I can see ABC Corp had 6 tickets and all of them are high. That's alarming for a company. So let's play around a little more. I also want to see if these tickets were resolved. So as I said, first call resolution. So were they FCR, which means when I interacted, were they resolved? So I bring them, I click and drag FCR two columns, and now I see I had ABC Corp was, with 6 tickets with my concern. So one of their tickets was not resolved as an FCR. However, five were, right? Great. So I'm still happy. I have a problem that they had to contact us 6 times with a high priority ticket, but at the same time, I'm a bit content that five of those were resolved the very day when they contacted us on that very first contact, and one was not done, and we'll be looking into it. Right. So now I see, okay, I scroll down, and here comes a grand total. So what it says is 19 tickets out of 51 were not resolved and 32 were resolved. So here it says no, and here it says yes. These are coming from FCR value that I placed in the columns. And it's a great, disadvantage. 19 out of 51 is a huge number. So let's see how huge it is. So I'm going to remove a priority and let's just bring FCR here. Now it just shows me 19, how many tickets were not resolved, 19, how many were resolved, which is 32 out of 51. And I'll click my cursor on count on client name, right click on it, and it says show value as once you right click. And right now it says no calculation. So let's see the percentage of grand total. Now 19 changes to 37.25 and 32 changes to 62.75. So a little above one third of my tickets are still under unresolved, which is a very big number. If I'm running an actual company, believe it, I will go bankrupt. So this is another data that you get out of this information. So now let me move out FCR, move out client name. Now we are back to a raw pivot table. And I want to see how many tickets did I receive based on date. So once I place my date here, it changes into month, days, and date. And then I will place priority. Okay. So let me go ahead and expand here. And I will put any client or anything which is account. So if I do this, what I get is 1st of February high tickets too. Let me take priority on the top. Now it becomes a little relatively easy to read. Okay, so now I have the information. I can simply click on the month and I would see what has happened. I'm not seeing anything alarming as such because it's 1111, but you might see 5, 10, 15, or probably a day where you had 50. So what you need to identify is why you had 50 on that day. So for example, there is a service or a server update and you had notified your clients 15 days, 20 days ahead that on 1st of February, we are going to have a server update with a downtime scheduled for, let's say, 5 hours. All services will be suspended during that period of time. And once it is done, we will notify you back through the application, WhatsApp, message, email that these services are back in service. Now, the client did not actually, read that information. They just went in just like usual and wanted to use it. And they called in complaining that you're not able to use a function or the application in total. So that's a good thing that you have the reason right now. So you tell your client, you know what, we are updating our servers and we will get back to you in about 5 hours time. So that's a good part that you were able to resolve the concern of the client in the first. The bigger question is all these clients did not read your notification, neither on email, nor on WhatsApp, nor on your message or any other way you contacted, which is a concern because if you're sending out security update and you are telling somebody to make changes or their account may be compromised, they're just ignoring that information and which is bad. So you have to be sure that when you read data, you also have to think outside the box, which is very, very important. Now let's make another change. Let's take all of this out. Let's check AST, right? And then we have the tickets. So tickets that were solved in 5, 6, 7, 8, great. Anything above 10 is a concern. So now you would see that these are our challenges. These are our challenge areas. If I click again, here it says 12 minutes, one ticket. I click on 14, it says four tickets. Let me put priority here. So it's medium, medium, okay. Now 16 minutes for a high, low, and medium. Now I have two things here. One, by default, I have categorized over a period of time that even a high ticket should be able to resolve in 10 minutes. Okay, so that went high. I understand that. But now a low ticket is also taking a 16 minute, a 22-minute, which is concerning. A medium ticket is taking a 22 minutes, which is concerning, which means I have process flaw. There are certain breaks in my system. It could be the manpower, it could be the technology, it could be movement of the conversation from one point to the other, and so on. And hence, again, as a business person or as a person who's managing the business, I would look into it deeply, make changes, and update my process. Let's make another change. Let's move all the data out and bring it to a blank. So now that we've brought our pivot table back to ground zero, let's check a little more here and there. So what else can I find out? What I can find out is the resolution time here. So this is my resolution time. This is my AST. And now I want to check how many tickets. See, so my resolution time here was 2 and my AST is 5. That means on an average, 3 minutes were extended here. 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 Then here I have 8 minutes extended, right? Now here I have about 5 minutes extended. So this way, what it shows is post closing, wherein the client or the customer has confirmed that they have found the resolution, the service is working fine, and they've confirmed it while communicating with the agent or the associate. The conversation still went on. Were they talking, or was the client asking something new? Was it a concern? And if yes, it is not properly documented. Was the agent taking proactive steps to send that information out to the client? Or was he or she just sitting idle? Or is it a process challenge that we cannot close a call right after the resolution is provided? And we have to do manual effort of about 3 to 4 minutes or 5 minutes, depending on how much time have we spent with the client. And that needs to be checked because now I'm eating, equivalent time of my resource, which they should be utilizing to help other customers. So now I would have to revisit once I understand what the core problem is. So, guys, in principle, I've just showed you a handful of things that I would check using Pivot. Pivot is one of the strongest tools you will work with when it comes to Excel. And you can have multiple pivots within the same data, or you could just copy. For example, let me show you how it works. Very simple. So let's say I am just going to create a very simple pivot of clients and clients tickets. So once I have this, if I want to probably, keep this and use another pivot, copy, paste. You don't have to go back and do the insert thing every action again. And now let's change it to priority and then tickets. So now I have this data. Let me make a change here. So again, if I need more, I can copy another one and make changes to it, and the data will stick. They are independent entities, even though they're using the same data, and one is the copy of the other. So it doesn't make any change. Pivot can be a very, very strong tool, and you can get real insights about your data when working with pivots. At the same time, my request is to like, share, and subscribe our channel